In today's video, I'll be continuing part 2 of chapter 2 of the Danqing Island update, Whisper of History in the Painting. Feel free to refer to my previous story video if you still need help catching up, or to refresh on the story. Let's dive right in. At the end of the previous story part, we have finally transitioned into the Danqing Realm, and Nikki has just finished looking at and speculating on some scrolls she found with Momo. Now they are both ready to explore the Danqing Realm and investigate what's happened to the villagers. We see straight ahead are some cloud perch kites. Use the Danqing ability on them one by one to make your way down. The last one is a wind chaser kite. Use the ability on it like the others and allow it to float Nikki closer to the path ahead. Jumping off here and heading straight towards the village, Nikki thinks she can hear Miss Sway's voice. They hear her voice coming straight from a painting and ask how did this happen? Miss Sway explains she woke up like that after losing consciousness in the rain. She mentions that the other missing villagers are in the same situation, transformed into objects in paintings and scattered throughout. Nikki, curious about why her mentor is an inkstone, wonders if there's a pattern or clue to the objects that they are turned into. Miss Sway recalls a story of when she was younger and always held her inkstone. When questioned if reincarnation is real, she says maybe it could be possible. Nikki wonders if using her Danqing ability will help restore Miss Sway. Use the ability on the painting. But unfortunately, there is no reaction. She suggests searching for Meng, the first missing villager, as he might have more clues. We can now speak with several other paintings and find out how they managed inside the realm and get some more clues. The lantern painting, who's actually the missing watchman, speaks about how the blank scroll belongs to Meng, and that he mutters about everything is made of ink, and once rained on, they are ruined. He believes that if he can replenish his ink, he could possibly go home. It's mentioned that he wanders off as an egret and steals ink from the others. The paper kite painting, who is a bookstore owner, also gives some clues about an ink pool and missing ink. Find the painting of a raft, and this is Xiaoxi. Nikki explains that her parents have always been proud of her and want nothing more than her safe return. Speak more with her where we can learn more about Meng's daughter and assure her that we are going to find a solution to bring everyone back. Where some voices are coming from the stone bridge painting. The egret jumps to the painting, and now it's up to us to chase it down. Walk towards the table, and a tutorial will show us that we need to adjust the paintings to create a path. We want to make one continuous path throughout. Interact with the table to adjust the paintings. I actually did make a mistake my first time doing this. The painting should line up like this to create one full continuous pathway, when correctly placed. My mistake was not using the up and down options on the painting properly. If you happen to make a mistake too, you will be able to adjust these later as needed and head back in. For example, I was able to rearrange them, so I only had to use the first and final scroll to finish it up. Ensure your paintings are in the correct positions for one continuous pathway, and use the Danqing cropped ability on the first painting and then enter. This game mode acts like a 2D side-scroller game. You'll also want your Danqing ability equipped to help explore throughout. Meng is here at the start, but as you get closer, he runs away to the next painting. Let's follow the blinks and jump forward. Here we have a parasol, similar to the one that we saw in the mountain path in the Trace to the Past chapter. Use the ability to activate the parasol and plunge down to lift us up to even higher heights. After this house, we have kites to use to help us across. We see some S-links, purify them before moving forward. Here we see some small ink cats by the next building. We can see on the UI that there's an indicator showing 1 fish and 4 cats. These are extras defined within the paintings to fully explore them. You can choose to push forward only now, but I'll show you the full pathway for this Danqing Trail. Interact with the cats for rewards, and then let's jump up and forward to the right. After this building is the exit, and we can see from the UI in the top left that we are within the next painting now. Move forward and use the kite to float us down. If we look left, there is a lotus that we can restore. Jump to the left and we have found some more cats. Interact for rewards, and let's get back over to the right. We have an S-Ling and a parasol. I ended up trying to get behind it to hit it on the bottom, but in hindsight, you should probably use the parasol to jump up and over it. Use this parasol to get over the building, and we find a fish on the path right here. Speak with them for rewards. Up ahead, we have more S-Lings with shields. Try to hit them from behind. There's a small interactable ahead that is a message from Miss Cat that you can read. Use the series of parasols to jump all the way up. I moved left first and then used the kites to help me find some more cats. Head to the right again and float along the path. We spot Meng again just before the exit before he runs off. This is an example of the path not lining up as I mentioned earlier, so with a little movie magic, let's push ahead to the final part of this trail. We have S-Lings at the start here, purify them first, and we find our final Inkling cats on the path. Don't forget to use your ability to restore this lotus, like I almost did. Take out the S-Lings along the way again and utilize the parasol. At the end here, we finally catch the egret and can now exit. Once outside, the stone bridge painting is thankful for your help. When asking Meng for clues, he explains that he doesn't have many. He has flown everywhere, and it's an endless world without borders. He spoke with the other paintings and found that they were also villagers from Danqing Island. He speculated that Danqing Island could even be a vast painting, possibly only beings with souls could exist within it and be reborn. When questioned, he explains that he's traveled throughout the scrolls, and the only constant is the deep ink pool, which he thinks must be the source. But he was unable to touch it, and resorted to stealing ink from the others. Nikki wonders if she is unable to restore living beings, and only inanimate objects because she's missing ink souls. After learning about Nikki's dancing ability, he wonders if she could use the ink pool to help restore living beings. While Meng is worried for Nikki, she is confident that she'll be fine with Momo by her side. Now Nikki wants to attempt to use the ink pool. We can see it's like a large lake in the center. Let's jump and head right over. When close enough, dip the brush in the lake. Nikki notes that the ink feels sluggish, and Momo speculates if the purple mist is a sign of dark essence. A group of S-Lings spawn throughout the village. Take them out, and Nikki is worried for Miss Sway and the others. We can head straight towards her painting. There are many S-Lings along the way to take out. When close, Miss Sway starts speaking about how she remembers everything. As Nikki gets closer, we now see a scene explaining what happened here. Mirrorland collapsed, and Artist Cat lost everything. She took what was left and used it as ink to paint the realm across a scroll. Where her brush touched, mountains rose and villages took form, but there was no life. Artist Cat used her own ink soul to bind her to the painting, creating the ink pool and making it a place of reincarnation so life could flourish. But as her soul weakened, she knew the inevitable. She dotted the Long's eyes with ink from the ink pool and bound it to the cycle of reincarnation as its guardian. Watching over the cycle of life, the painted world was becoming real. Artist Cat used what she had left to paint the twin-side gate and taught Long about the human heart. She left behind the words, "When bonds must end, new ones may begin. In time, we shall meet again." Only the maple trees on Long Peak remained unchanged over centuries. Nikki realized the vision she had in the Sea of Stars was lingering echoes from its destruction, and that everything here, the realm, the island, and all within it, were crafted by Artist Cat herself. With Long as its guardian and the cycle in chaos, something must be wrong with the ink pool. She concludes that the issue must be with Long. She thinks that the next step is locating the Long Pagoda from inside the realm. We have now also acquired Artist Cat's brush. We can see on the map that it's on the other side of the ink pool. I mainly followed the path and then tried a shortcut using Lotus on the water. Once close, we can interact and find there's a door. The realm seems to be the blueprint of the island, where only objects first painted by Artist Cat exist. Buildings and other items from later aren't in the realm. She thinks this door leads to Long Peak and may lead her to Long. Enter the gate and we're transported to a very barren place, which must have been the original peak before it was painted. Momo spots a scroll that could lead outside back to the island, and Nikki is determined to find out what happened to Long and the ink pool. With this part complete, we've completed the second section of Chapter 2, Whispers of History in the Painting. Things are getting quite mysterious and curious, huh? Let's finally uncover what's happening and untying the knot in the next chapter video. Thanks so much for watching. I'd really appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe, so I know this video helped you out today. Check out my socials for more content, or become a member of the channel if you'd like to show your support. I really appreciate you all so much, and I hope to see you again next time.